Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's the Drunken Kobold here. Today with a review of Curse of Strahd Revamped. We're going to be opening this box here on the channel and we're going to be taking a look at the contents inside and determining, is this a really good value for your dollar or does this need to go the way of the dead? Let's find out. Okay, so the first thing that you notice right away is that the slipcover that covers the box has the same art as the original Curse of Strahd, just darkened down a tone. They're otherwise the exact same cover. However, once you get into the box, I already took the time to unwrap everything so that way this is a nice quick video rather than editing out a ton of opening. We have a gorgeous cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's get that on the camera for a sec. Like, look at that. That is just absolutely gorgeous. And I have to say right away, by looking at the size of this box, this is not going to fit in on a regular bookcase with the rest of your books, even your premium books. This is something that falls more along the line of Beadle and Grimm. And you're even going to see why when it opens up in just a sec. Okay, so we open the box. And right away we are greeted with an image of Strahd laying in his coffin. If you flip the picture over, you have a stat block for Strahd von Zarovich. Now, this is not the only stat block of him this comes with, otherwise this would be very loathsome to drag around. So I just want to point that out right now. But opening it up and seeing Strahd asleep in his coffin, a really, really cool aesthetic touch. All right, and now we have the box here. Now, all of these are normally like cellophane wrapped. I've already taken the time to open them. So we're going to lift Strahd up for a bit here. All right, and as you can see, the cover of the book still matches the original book. It's not even the toned down version that was on the slipcover. This is the actual cover, just with the word revamped on it. There is no change to this physical book over the original. However, where we get into a change over the original, and I have to say this is a welcome change, is similar to how Beadle and Grimm breaks down their books into smaller books. We have the main adventure, Creatures of Horror, which has the, I believe, 23 creatures that are present in Curse of Strahd. And you can just flip through and all of their stats are here. And you can do that without having to flip through this. So whatever page they appear on, you can leave it there and open to that. So say a Guardian Portrait. Okay, Guardian Portrait, perfect. It's really, really nice for referencing. I have to say this is probably one of Wizards' best ideas, except the fact that Beadle and Grimm already did it first, can't really give them the credit for it. And then the same for this Taraka deck. With the Taraka deck, you have your card images here, and then you also have your definitions of each card. Now this is something I feel probably could have been left in the main book. However, the fact, because you don't really use the Taraka deck too much in the campaign, you use it once, you take your notes, and it's done. However, the fact that it is separate is still pretty cool, actually. So I'm not going to fault it too much for the Taraka deck being separate. It's still the same amount of paper that would have to be used. It's not like it's a waste, similar to all this cardboard. Honestly, this box could have been like 1.5 inches thick and you would have been fine. and it didn't need to be so wide. It was unnecessary to be that big. Next, and this is something that I can hopefully demonstrate. Hopefully I didn't take it out. I did not. Okay, in the original Curse of Strahd book, you have a map. Now this map is same kind of paper as your pages, and it tears out, and you have to be really careful because if you tear along the perforated line and it tears the map, well, the map is torn. Rather than do that for this, they actually took the map and put it on durable flip mat material. This is going to hold up so much better than the map that came in the book. I have to say this map is absolutely gorgeous. It's a darker tone than the original map, so it feels more aesthetically pleasing to the book too. On one side you have the map of Barovia, and on the other side you have the map to Castle Ravenloft. Other than that, it's the same map that came in the book. There's nothing new to it at all, but I have to say, it being on a more durable paper, almost plastic even, is really good because this map is going to stand up to more wear and tear than the one that came in the hardcover book. Now, in the hardcover book is a ton of letters that can appear at any point of the book. This product has taken the novelty of leaving them on individual sheets of paper. And I have to say, like, the texture on these is very, very nice. These are much better for photocopying and handing to players than trying to copy them out of the book. I've tried copying them out of the book several times, and they're always like not centered, and yeah, no, it's just not, it's not ideal to try and copy these out of the book. Being able to copy these is so much easier. Next, we have our Dungeon Master screen. Now, for those who don't know, the last Dungeon Master screen was more themed around Strahd. This is more themed around Barovia and Ravenloft. And the imagery is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to flip through this imagery panel by panel. That's the Death House for those who aren't familiar with this campaign. I highly recommend not actually doing the Death House as part of your main campaign and leaving it more as a one-shot, but that's up to you. And then opening up the DM screen, you have most of the same things that are in your traditional DM screen, your conditions, your DCs, damage by level and severity. There is a few things here that are for Strahd. However, I feel like DM screens are more of a novelty item. They aren't individually needed to run a campaign. As for this DM screen, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. When I bought the Essentials kit and the DM screen that came in there, it was flimsy paper, it wasn't sturdy. I had the same worries about this one. However, this one is your sturdy DM screen that you're used to. Now, artwork-wise, this DM screen is phenomenal. I love the artwork of this one so much more than the original. and I am glad that I have this DM screen for my collection. If you can pick it up, I wouldn't pay too much for it, simply because there isn't the value there for it. But we'll be getting into value in a bit, so just hold off on that. All right, so now we're gonna put these back in the box. Oh, one thing I wanted to show you real quick, and this is what I mean about way too much packaging, is you lift this and you have an empty spot here. Now, one thing that could be noted about this spot is it will hold a medium-sized miniature. So, if you do get the Icon of the Realms premium box kit, or any of the Collector Series minis, once they're completed, they will fit nicely in this box for your campaign. However, it's clear that that was not the intended purpose, and overall, this is actually just wasted space and wasted material. This had so much packaging, it wasn't even funny at all. So we're gonna put this back in there. So yeah, no, that is something that you can definitely consider, is using the lower storage of the coffin for miniatures. However, like I said, it's clear that wasn't the intended purpose. It just happens to work. All right, let's put, oh, where did it go? Here we are. So now we have Dungeon Master screen, printouts, map, books, and this folds over. All right. The original Taraka deck was about the size of a standard deck of cards. You opened it and they were right there. I don't have my Taraka deck handy, but I do have this here. You can get an idea of how big the original Taraka deck was. When Gale Force 9 did the reissue of the cards, it came in a big box that matched all the other cards. However, when they upgraded the spell cards to the large boxes, obviously some cards wouldn't have been able to be large, so they kept them the standard size in a large box. The Taraka deck, because it would have fit in here large, I had hoped that these were large cards. However, upon opening this is the original. Well, the reprint of the original. I have the original up on the shelf, but like I said, I didn't bring it down for this video. Okay, that's all of them. Drop the card. A sec. All right, so here is the original Taraka deck opened. They're small, and they are easily sleevable using Ultra Pro sleeves, Dragon Shield sleeves. They're also very durable. They're the same laminate material that the spell cards are made out of. These will last you a decent amount of time. Let's get to today's Taraka deck. Oh, let's get that out there. All right. So when I seen this, I knew that the cards were foiled. That was part of the app. Now, Wizards of the Coast has a problem with foiling. If you are familiar with any of their products that have foils, Magic the Gathering, the covers of the core rule books that aren't alternate art but decided to foil them, the foiling on cards scrapes and scratches really easily and warps and bends. So when I heard that this was foil, I went and invested in a pack of sleeves to put them in. Well, I should have waited. So I'm going to open this up. They are large cards. They are actual tarot size cards. Now, when you go through the cards, and you can see that like these ones are already starting to wear a bit. The foiling on the back is not overdone. I have to say, I actually like the foiling on the back of these cards. However, one thing, they are a lot flimsier than the other Tarot deck. It makes them a lot thinner. So, and like I said already, their edges are starting to wear and damage. The other side is not foiled. I do not know if there is enough foiling or if the foiling here is the same kind that they used for their magic cards and their books. So I don't know if this is going to warp. This will scrape off very easily. So I still recommend getting sleeves for them. However, you're going to need some oversized sleeves. The other side is not foiled. It's your regular picture. Overall, the foiling here is insignificant. It doesn't do anything to up the aesthetic of the cards. I think the bigger aesthetic issue here is that, well, it's not even an issue, it's more of a bonus, is that they are actually tarot-sized cards. That is what I wanted from this product, and I'm glad that I finally got it in this product. That said, well, I think that they could have either foiled this side or not foiled the other side. The foiling isn't enough to be a selling point. All right. And the next and last, we have the postcards for this box. So, as you can see here, they are artworks that are featured on the DM screen. I don't know if they are in order of the DM screen panels. I didn't check on that. But I have to say that using like these fonts and everything on these cards really does not do the artworks any justice. These look like, you know, cutesy cards. They don't look like something that belongs in horror. I wouldn't write on them. They have a spot to put a stamp. You can write the address, the from. They are like genuine postcards. I wouldn't use them as such, simply because once they're written on, they're written on. It's always going to show light pencil and all that. So I would want to keep these in as mint condition as possible. They're also going to need an oversized sleeve to protect them. And then over here, because once the Tarot deck is sleeved, it's not going to fit in its box. I highly recommend just taking this part out altogether. And then putting your cards in here. Like I said, a lot of packaging for this. A lot of this packaging was not needed, but it was done. I feel that this could have been 1.5 inches thick and it would have been just as fine, but it definitely has that coffin aesthetic to it. Now, what is the value here? All right. So, if you do not own the Tarot deck, to buy a Tarot deck, you are looking at $12.99 Canadian or $9.99 US. So, I'm a Canadian, I'm going to be using Canadian dollars. So, $13 for the Tarot deck. Your book in Canada is $63.95. Some places may charge a little more, some a little less. There is always Amazon, but we are going with that $63.95. So $64. So you're up to $77 between the book and the Tarot deck. Now, the Curse of Strahd DM screen is out of print. Any that are left on the market are either used or from the original print run that haven't sold. Used ones, or ones that haven't even been opened yet but were bought by scalpers, are anywhere between $30 and $40 now. They were $19.95 when they came out, so $20. So you're looking at about $95 to have the Tarot deck, the original screen, and the book. This has a US value of approximately $110, I believe. Let me just double check here. $100 American, 130 Canadian. At that price, it is a hard no. As cool as the oversized tarot cards are, and the fact that the books are separated, the book did not use any new art. It's the old art. It's soft cover. And there just isn't any justification here to charge $35 more than the original retail of the set. However, that said, if you can get it for as close to the original retail as possible, so that was 95 Canadian, you are looking at actually not a bad deal. The Tarot deck is still nice. The fact that the books are made for convenience is helpful. And the DM screen is, like I said, absolutely gorgeous. I would say if you can find this for under 110 Canadian, or even 110 Canadian, $15 extra for the convenience and the little bit of aesthetic here is worth it. I would not go much more than that. And the reason for that is simply, other than the postcards, everything here, like I said, is 95 Canadian. Now, some may ask, well, what about the DM screen? As you said, it's out of print, and you're looking at about $30 rather than the $19.95 or $20. Even if you go to $115 to buy your set, you don't want to pay that for this. That's all there is to it. So like I said, keep it to under 110 and you've scored yourself a really good deal. Over 110, you're essentially overpaying for the product. Right now, the original DM screen should get a reprint from Gale Force 9 to be on the market for those who do not want this, but do want to get the Curse of Strahd game, especially since the new game has the errata. All in all, I would say value-wise, if you pay under 110 and, you know, grade of everything, I would say this is a good 8 out of 10. If you are environmentally conscious, the fact that there was so much plastic and the fact that there is so much cardboard here that is not needed, I'd say it probably lowers it to a 7. If you are paying more than 110, I would say this immediately drops to a 4. There just is not value here at over $110. Straight. So that's it for my review of Curse of Strahd Revamped. Do you agree with me? Do you feel like there's something I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you can find really good deals on this, like I said, pick it up. It's not bad. I got mine from 401 Games for the 110 Canadian. Once you included shipping in that, you know, it was $18, but, you know, not a bad deal. Other than that, like I said, you know, it's not a bad product. It's not Wizard's worst product to date. However, I feel it was just really lacking. If you disagree on my assessment of value, also feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear it. All right, so that is all for tonight. Cheers, and may the rolls be with you.